what is going down in the ground. Mex Living here, bringing you another video. Hope everyone's having a beautiful day. If not, I hope your day gets better. So on today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating how I grow carrots from seed. So this is the garden bed I used. I made it about 6 months ago with old recycled cinder blocks. They were just lying around the property here, and instead of throwing them away and wasting them, I decided to put them to use, and they've been doing okay. Not as bad as I expected them. I thought some of the dirt would seep through the cracks, but it didn't. I do have some videos on how I started the garden beds. If you guys are interested on watching, check it out on my channel. So I started off with the first row. I believe it was this row right here. I had some beets and some other stuff growing in the bed as well at the time. So I started off with the first row. And then once we harvest the beets and everything else, I threw in a couple of other rows. As you can see, this was the last row I decided to go ahead and throw, or was able to fit in. These two, and there's a smaller one on this side. So let's take a quick look. We got some fun size ones. Little choted one right here. Nice. So let's go ahead and harvest our first row.
So this is where I'm going to be sowing the first row along the edge here. The first thing you should take into consideration when growing carrots, you want your dirt or your soil to be loose. You don't want to have any rocks that might disturb the growth. The seeds are relatively small, which makes them a little bit harder to work with. To sow the seed, simply dig a trench about 1/2 inch deep. I prefer to work with my hands, but you could use anything that you're comfortable using. I find it best to spread the seeds evenly and thin the seedlings after, if necessary. This way your rows don't end up with patches. Fill in any empty spaces if necessary, then just cover the seeds with dirt and add water. Within the first 10 to 12 days, you will start noticing your seedlings sprout. The seedlings are really small and can be easily mistaken for weeds, but if you focus on the pattern of your rows, you can distinguish your seedlings. So at this point, you want to be cautious on how you water them. Because the seedlings are extremely small, it makes it easier to overwater and drown the seedlings. By the first month or within 30 days since your seedlings have sprouted, this is how they should start looking. At this point, I would recommend to start mulching around the seedlings to help keep the dirt moist and to add support. Now that the rest of the garden has been harvested, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more rows for continuous harvest. Once again, when sowing the seed, simply dig a small trench about 1/2 inch deep. You could use your hands, you can use your fingers, a shovel, whatever you find easiest. And don't forget to spread the seeds evenly, and then just lightly cover with dirt and add water. So this is 60 days since the seedlings have sprouted on the first row, and it's 30-day mark for the additional 3 rows I added afterward. Just so I can have an endless or a continuous harvest along the season, I decided to add another 3 rows using the same process as before to sow the seed. "30 days after the additional row have been added, this is how the seedlings should look. So at this point, the first row is going on 90 days. That means that the second set of row is going on 60 days, leaving this last row on the 30-day mark. So at this point, you can begin to harvest your first row if you want, or you can give it another week or 2 to allow them to grow to their potential size.
Now that they're washed up, we can inspect them a little more. These are the ones that just came out a little too small, a little too deformed. This one looks like it was bitten from the top. Something must have been munching away. I can still cut it from the top, rescue it. And then this handful looks like they're the better looking group. This one looks pretty beefy. And then these are the smaller ones that came hugging around the main ones. So that's why it's important to thin your carrots as they grow. It gives them space, it allows them to grow straight, and you don't get these deformed looking ones. But for my first harvest on this garden bed, I decided to experiment, let them grow as they were. On the next couple of rows, I might start thinning. I might also just leave it, depends on how I feel or how they look. So if you look inside of these look like they're gonna be a little too crowded. It might be a little too late as well. So I might leave this row, but this other row, I might start thinning, give them a little space to allow them to grow as big and as long, and so they don't come out deformed. But for the first harvest, I'm more than satisfied with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. In the next couple of weeks, I'll add another quick update on my next harvest just so you guys can see. Oh wow.